Assalamu alaikum girls. Welcome to week 3 of term 3. Hope you are all doing well. Inshallah, this week we will try to cover what are the types of events we have in Alice and how we can make them in Alice. So before we start off, make sure you're sitting in a quiet space and it is better to wear headphones so that you can hear the voice with better clarity. Let's get started. So last week we went over what is an event. Do you remember? Yes, an event is a way to make the user interact with your program in Alice. And what were some examples of events you made in Alice the week before? Yes, you made when the left arrow key is pressed, the bird should move forward, isn't it? All right. So, continuing with what we've done before, today we learned that in Alice events are of two types. So that means for the user to interact with Alice program, there is two kinds of events. What are these? One is the keyboard events and one is the mouse events. As you will soon see, there are ways for the user to interact with Alice either through the keyboard or through the mouse. So let's go through today's tutorial demo and then I will explain to you what is the task for the day. I have an Alice file open here in front of me. It has two birds and a series of buttons over here. Don't worry about this now. This is just the demo I want to show you regarding how to make events in Alice. Whenever you have a default program in Alice, the first event that is always here by default is this one. When the world starts, do world.myFirst method. This event is always here by default when you open a new Alice program. And what is world.myFirst method? That is this method over here, world.myFirst method. The week before, you were adding some methods into this world.myFirst method, and when you were playing, you were seeing it happen. So let's do a quick recap example of what we did before. For example, I'm pressing on bird 1 over here. When the world starts, do world.myFirst method. What is world.myFirst method? I want the bird to be able to fly forward. Let's see if this works. Yes. And you did not have to press any key for this because this was just when the world is starting, do the method, that's all. Now, let me go ahead with the tutorial and show you what are the keyboard and mouse events that we can make. So in Alice, if you want to create another event, first let's try to get rid of the default one that's over here. Right click, delete. Here is the button to create a new event. When you press on create new event, you have many options in front of you. For example, here you can see when a key is typed. This is the one we used the previous week and you put the option here when any key is typed and you change this into one of the symbols we had before. Now, today let us try to understand which of these are keyboard events and which of these are mouse events. Clearly, you can see that some of the events are based on mouse clicks, for example, this one and this one and this one. And you can see some of the events are based on clicking something from your keyboard. For example, when a key is typed, let the arrow keys move subject and so on. So these are the keyboard events when the arrow keys move or when the key is typed. And which are the mouse events? When the mouse is clicked, when the mouse is moving, when the mouse is moving the camera and so on. Let's try to make a keyboard event when a key is typed. I can put any key over here from the drop down available. For example, I am going to put the up key, up arrow key. What is it I want to do? Let's try to do some methods from the bird, which is maybe bird fly forward. So I'm dragging and dropping bird1 dot fly forward here. And now when I play this animation, what will happen by default? Yes, nothing will happen by default. But when I press the up arrow key, what will happen? Yes, the bird will fly forward. You can see it here. Right now nothing is happening because our event sent that the bird will fly forward only if the arrow key is pressed. So I'm pressing the up arrow key and now I can see that the bird is flying. Alright, let me close this up for you. Now I want to add another event, which is a mouse event this time. So let me go to create a new event and try to see what kind of mouse events I have. For example, there is a mouse event called when the mouse is clicked on something. So let me put this here. When the mouse is clicked on anything, do nothing. I want to try this method. So instead of anything, I'm trying to go to bluebird and get the method of the bluebird, which says a bluebird is going to move. I'm going to take bluebird and put it here so that when the mouse is clicked on the bluebird, what do I want to do? Let's see, when you click on the bluebird, maybe the bluebird moves away, right? So bluebird move where? Forward maybe. Let's try this one. So now what events do we have? We have two events. What is the first kind of event? It's a keyboard event because you're pressing a key to do something. What's the second event we have here? It's a mouse event. When the mouse is clicked, something else happens. Let's try both of these. When I press the up arrow key, what should happen? Yes, bird 1 should fly forward and that is happening. Let's restart and play the animation. What was my second event? When I click on the bluebird should move forward. Let's try if this works. See, your second event is also working. So this is how you will be able to make keyboard events and mouse events in Alice. So let's go back to our tutorial now. As you can see, a keyboard event is an event where you tell Alice to do something when a certain key is typed. And this, when a key is typed, is an example of a keyboard event. And we already tried this out. As you can see in the tutorial, from the drop down any key is typed, you can choose all the letters or numbers or symbols that you want to happen in your event. What are the mouse click events? These are events that is tied to some happening of clicking on the mouse. And what are the examples? When the mouse is clicked, you can do something. For example, here, when the mouse is clicked on the button, do something. Let's try this out. So I'm going to create another new event now to see what can happen with the buttons. When the mouse is clicked on anything, do nothing. This is by default. Now I'm going to replace this with one of the buttons. As you can see, there is a button over here and a button panel over here. I want to use the button panel. As you can see, the button panel has two buttons as part of it, the green button and the red button. Let me try the green button this time. I'm going to drag and drop it here. And what do I want to do? Maybe this time I want the bird one to fly backwards. Let me try this. And I'm going to play my animation. This time I will try to run this one by clicking on the green button. You can see the green button and the red button. And when I press the green button, as you can see, the bird one is flying backwards. Alright, let's go back to our tutorial now. As we can see, we can create all these sorts of mouse events and keyboard events like this. Now, what is your task for the day? You will be given an Alice file which you can download from Edmodo. Once you download the Alice file from Edmodo, open the file in Alice and create the 4 events shown here. These are the 4 events you need to make in the file. Then you can save your file and submit it on Edmodo. I will show you a quick demo of how you can download the file and work on it. Let me close my current file. Once you open Edmodo, you should see this assignment in front of you. Click on Open Assignment and it will have an attachment of the Alice file you need to work on. Go to the small arrow symbol here, press on it and press download. This will save the Alice file onto your computer. Choose desktop as the location to save it in. Give your name and save the file. Once this file is saved, it should show up in your desktop. So for example, for me, it shows up here. Either you can click on it directly or open Alice normally as you would do, and then click on open a world and then choose the file you saved before. Then this file will already come with all the buttons and birds in it. And what are the events you need to create? Yes, the events in your task, which is these 4 events. When F is typed, do fly forward. When B is typed, do bird1.fly backwards. When mouse is clicked on green button, do approach. And when it is clicked on red button, do stop. So for example, all the objects you need are over here. You can drag them as you need, and all the methods you need will come up here. Once you are done with your Alice file, go to File and click on Save. Once you click on Save, your file must already be saved. To attach it, come to your assignment on Edmodo again, press on Attach File from Computer and choose the file that you have saved on your desktop. Once it loads on Edmodo, then you will be able to turn in your assignment. Once your file has uploaded, click on Turn In and then your assignment will be submitted. Alright, so to finish up today's lesson, let's wind up with our plenary. Choose one of the 3 questions shown here and then you can answer them. Pause the video to think of the answer. If you pick the first question, what are the 2 types of Alice events, then your answer should be right if you said keyboard events and mouse events. If the question you picked was give an example of a keyboard event, the answer is when P is typed, do something and so on. And an example of a mouse event will be when a mouse is clicked on bird, do bird.fly forward. Alright girls, hope this is easy and clear for you. We are waiting for you to get in touch with us with all your homework submissions. Thank you and have a nice day.